Hey, what's going on, fight fans? Hey, this is Coach D, the Wild Man, coming at you again with another episode of Coach D Media. Now, you know I do a Coach D Media. I talk about all things combat sports related, from the highs to the lows. All right, let's go ahead and get back into it. Now, normally I will talk about what just happened with UFC. I'm going to do that, but first I want to talk about Real American Freestyle. There's a new promotion on the block. They're currently getting ready to go into RAF 3, which is going to be in Chicago on the 29th of this month. Now, when they first came out, I was curious to go, okay, how are they going to do with pro wrestling where wrestlers get paid? What's going to make it different? How can you tell the difference between the NCAA and pro wrestling? How it's going to look? What's the promotions going to look? If they're going to be able to bring the energy of what's required of an entertainment promotion. All those things were in my head, right? So I wasn't able to go to RAF 1, but I did go to RAF 2, and I got to see it firsthand. They get it. They understand promotion. I have to give it to them. They're still brand new. They still got ways to go to get the energy to just that perfect pitch, but they're getting there. They're showing bouts of good quality entertainment where you can go, okay, I like where they're going with this, right? So I'm like, yeah, they're going to be able to pull it off down the line. And they're getting top tier talent, which is not the sole thing to do. Just because you got top tier talent don't mean they can deliver entertainment, because what's highlighted in wrestling is not necessarily highlighted in entertainment of a promotion. You got to kind of mix them both together. And I give you exactly what I mean, right? In RAF 2, to me, one of the main people to steal the show was Nate Jackson. Nate Jackson, with his win over Carter, solidified. He knew how to get the crowd involved. He knew from the day he got there to start selling himself. In the press conference, when I met him, he had the shades on, sitting in the chair, like, look, I'm a star, right? I don't know if you know, but I am. He sold himself, and he stayed in character all the way up until he got on the mat, right? And if you did the background of Nate versus Carter, you knew Carter was coming off some high performances, and a lot of people had Carter being the one to get the win since Nate was in his 30s. But that didn't happen. Nate completely dominated Carter and did it in spectacular fashion and got the crowd involved. So he knew how to sell wrestling to the fans, where fans got involved in the stands, and he had a story to tell after it was all said and done. So to me, Carter was one of the ones that really put RF2 on the mat with his victories. Then you have David Carr, who just won a belt at RF2, and he said, since we're going to Chicago, let me call out Bilal Muhammad, who's a star in the UFC. Now, I didn't look to see what Bilal Muhammad's wrestling pedigree is, but he's a high-level grappler. Being in the UFC, you got to be, because you're going to go up against high-level grapplers, so you got to be able to understand how to wrestle, which I'm sure he does. But Bilal runs Chicago. So you think it already get back to him, and he's like gonna go, you bring your butt to Chicago and we can see what's up. So even David Carr, being a new guy on the scene, just got a belt. He knew how to get the buzz going, right? Is it gonna pan out? We're gonna find out. But laying the groundwork for social media, matchmaking to take effect, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to get everybody on board, right? And that's what it's all about. So now we're going into, hold on, I get my remote. Now we're going into RAF 3 that's going to be in Chicago, and that's going to set the tone for a lot of stuff. I'm looking for something while I talk, so excuse me 1 second. But the main thing is they're getting better with each card, meaning they're understanding what's a right matchup, what's a good blend for wrestling and MMA. So they're really getting to the point of bridging the gap between the two, because now they're getting high level MMA stars. They got good high-level wrestling pedigrees to now compete at RAF. Now, in the beginning, I was like, okay, are we going to do a pure MMA guy versus a pure wrestling on strictly wrestling? That may be limited. And MMA was getting the short end of the stick because they're well-rounded fighters. They're not focusing on just wrestling like the wrestlers they have to go up against. So it's going to be kind of lopsided depending on how you look at it. Some says, hey, if you want to compete, you got to compete. You got to step your game up, blah, 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 right? But then RF3, they made some adjustments, what I thought was pretty interesting, right? They put Chad Mendes versus Michael Chandler, which are both high-level wrestlers in their own right. They have wrestling pedigrees, right? And they're MMA stars going up against each other on a MMA mat at RAF, which is pretty smart, in my opinion. Does it take away from wrestling? No, because they're still going to be wrestling. And they're high-level stars, and they got wrestling backgrounds, right? So they're going to be to deliver the sport we're looking to for them to showcase, which is wrestling. So that's perfect in my book as far as putting eyeballs and curiosity on the sport, on the promotion of RAF. I freaking like that. Now let's see what they do with it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a title shot. Which, like, wow. So someone is walking out of there with the belt. And these guys are high-level players. So I'm not going to say they come cheap because they don't. They're still at the top of their game popularity-wise. So eyeballs are going to be paying attention just because it's them. And they're on the main event, which I'm like, we'll see. I don't know if I want them to be the main event. Be co-main or feature, yeah. But the main event should be for a belt holder in RAF wrestling, to me. But nailing it, they sure enough did. Now, the next star they brought, that was just the first caveat. The next star is Bo Bassett, which is he is running the table at being the next big thing in wrestling. He's already coming out of high school, making big things happen. He's beating up everybody. He's making a name for himself. He knows how to do social media. He knows how to market himself. He knows how to be at the top of his game and who he is, on not just winning, but also as a brand, right? He got a contract with RAF and going to be competing at RAF 3 against freaking what's Darren's last name? Where that? Darren Caldwell, who just fought, I think, RAF 1, right? I think he comes from Bellator or PFL, right? He's solid. He competed. He looked good. He's solid, right? Bo had already said he gonna wear this guy out and make him so tired that he ain't gonna want no more, right? Bo was already selling himself going into the match. And he put out promos. I've already seen it. They're just behind the scene with him already. He's looking good. He's already selling himself, right? So we're already on point with that, right? So the momentum was there. You got Clay Guida going to be competing. You got Buckley against Downey's going to be competing. So the freaking card is already stacked. It's already matched up perfectly for getting eyeballs to pay attention. It's going to be Chicago, which is a hub for combat sports already, right? So hands down, this is going to be something to daggone see. I'm excited. I'm going to be there doing my Coach D thing because, yeah, I like it. And then I finally get the chance to get into the mix because I believe in social media matchmaking, right? So Jared Brooks hit me up and go, hey, I got my own little rematch I'm looking to do, all right? I'm looking to get some payback against Nathan Tomasello, who's a belt holder in RAF. He took it in RAF 1, right? They competed back in the day, and I think Jared said he got a rubber match he won, right? So now he getting in the game. He go, look, I need a piece of that ass, right? Talk about, Nathan on the mat. So that may be a matchup that we may see down the line. These are both two high-level competitors, right, who know how to get down. They both got names for themselves. Jared Brooks in one championship and Nathan on RAF. It's a potential match. That's why I love social media matchmaking. It looks like the fans are getting behind it. So this may be a thing. So RAF 3 is going to be the turning point to where they go. I think from there it's all the way up because big names are paying attention. They're getting the right matchups, right? So Chicago going to be off the chain. I'm looking forward to it, right? They got the right little mix of shit talking, potential matchups, curiosity, MMA and wrestling, finding that middle ground that seems to be working on the REF mat. So they're definitely doing it. I see big things. And yeah, they're going to get it right. It looks like they're already getting it right. And they know how to mix it up with the right amount of ingredients of both that make us go, okay, I think I might want to see that. So they're getting it. And they're getting a little hype thing going. They know how to hype it the right way, because it ain't about pure wrestling. It's about pure wrestling entertainment with the right little mixture of intrigue and curiosity. And they're figuring it all out. And I'm definitely seeing it, and I'm definitely paying attention, because I'm going to be there doing what I do, which is bringing it to you like I see it. So this is Coach D, doing what I'm doing, calling it like I see it, talking my share of shit. To hear from me again, peace out.